Ladies and gentlemen, I'll read you an article in The Hill. Activists want to disqualify Trump from ballot in key states under 14th Amendment. This will never happen. It will never happen because he did not organize a plot to overthrow democracy or try to take over the government. That never ever happened, which is why they've never indicted him in January in D.C. They could eventually try desperately to indict him like they did in New York or in Florida with the special counsel for classified data in which he was a former president with the power to declassify. The Presidential Records Act has no enforcement mechanism, and also George W. Bush, deleted 22 million emails, had a private server in his Oval Office, RNC server, Republican National Committee server, in his administration. And Clinton, of course, had servers siphoning classified and top-secret data outside the U.S. government onto servers running independent from the U.S. government. But anyway, they want... At the same time, they'll make you believe that Trump is this clown, this buffoon, but they want him disqualified. They say everything they can all at once to discredit him and to stop him. They are petrified of this man. So activists want to disqualify Trump. They're saying that he organized a plot to overthrow the government in January of 2021. He did not do that. The Federal Bureau of Investigation found no effort by Trump. And you have loyalists within that agency desperately trying to help Democrats. If he did anything criminal, believe me, they would have definitely indicted him already and convicted him if they had evidence. He didn't. He used the words peacefully and patriotically and other. He did not want any criminal behavior. We know that there were. Let's just say, according to Ted Cruz, government involvement, okay? So, or at least involvement of officials who work for specific agencies. Let's leave it at that, according to Ted Cruz and others. So, what you saw, it's never what you see in the news is never the accurate, the absolute 100% accurate viewpoint of what takes place. There's something that they're either lying by omission or they're just deceitful in many other ways. Was it a terrible day in January? Yeah. Do I condemn it? Yeah. Does anyone condemn the $1 to $2 billion in property damage? I'm not equating them directly in terms of the morality or the underlying causes for why the protests took place in the summer and in January. What I am saying is it's really interesting that Kinzinger never shed a tear, and Democrats just looked the other way gleefully as $1 to $2 billion in property damage, 19 lives lost, and 14,000 arrests took place. Then you had Trump, who was forced to go underground because of the same type of thing that took place in January. I believe it was May of his last year in office. May or June of his last year in office. And so, people didn't care about that. And so you have a situation where you have civil rights organizations, which is interesting because with Trump, we had record low poverty. So we had record low poverty, record highs in household median income. Every demographic group was doing better, but a couple of these organizations, too, are working to get Trump off the ballot. That makes no sense to me at all because he did better among people of color, non-white voters, than he did in 2016. More African Americans, Asian Americans, Latino Americans, more people of different backgrounds voted for Trump. Everyone, the media said that Trump is a bigoted, horrible person, yet people of color voted for him in greater numbers. He did better among African Americans and every other group. So how do you explain that? Well, people looked at the economy and they said, well, we're doing better under Trump than we did under President Obama or Bush. There was a record high in household median income. People did much better. When you look at it's really interesting, the racket that's on the left. It's like poverty is going up. So poverty is up now. If you're a civil rights organization and you're looking at poverty, which equates directly to crime and homelessness and, a whole bunch of societal dilemmas and issues, we had less poverty with Trump. So you're not going to take his personality or the apoplectic media coverage. You'd rather have mashed potato brains in office and Democrats? Would you rather have, if you had a better economy with Trump and media melting down every day, or media propping up Biden with a worse economy, what would you pick? Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. They want to disqualify Trump. They're going to fail to do so. They can't disqualify a candidate for something he didn't do. And so, in the minds of the wonderful, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats, Trump organized an effort to overthrow democracy. Okay, nothing could be further from the truth. He didn't trust the results, just like Democrats didn't trust results in 2016. And if Trump, hopefully he does, defeats Hillary Clinton, let's say, I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee, but for the Democrats, or mashed potato brains again, if they don't like the outcome, they are going to do exactly what Trump did and more. They are going to try to, you will see protests, you will see the same thing that Trump did, court cases, and they're going to push for a Federal Bureau of Investigation, endless investigations. The difference being, when Trump was suspicious and he didn't trust results, there were no investigations. There were no people under oath. There were no people who had to give documents. There was no effort, ladies and gentlemen, with Trump or with anyone around Trump to say, okay, you know what? We're going to investigate these claims. With Democrats, they investigated claims that were baseless for 7 years. That's the difference. For 7 years, all we heard about was Trump was working with Russia. That's all we heard about. None of that was true. Then they say Trump lies. Nobody lies more than the people who call Trump a liar. Nobody lies more. I mean, every single obsession Democrats or media have, every single obsession turns out to be either false or not true, or they're just failed in some way. Okay, Clinton was supposed to win in a landslide. The opposite took place. She lost to Trump. I was quoted in NPR. They quoted me in my article in the Huffington Post, other articles. I said that Clinton would lose to Trump. But all the experts said Clinton would win. When that took place, all of media, all the experts had egg on their face, were mortified. They were dreadfully wrong. They failed in their predictions. Then they went after Trump and said that he worked with the Kremlin. That too was a lie and a failed narrative and completely false. The conspiratorial theories, most of them, you have like a stupid, dangerous message boards that I told people not to even look at in 2018. But the most conspiratorial theories are spread through CNN and Washington Post and New York Times and other publications. Trump never worked with the Kremlin. Trump did defeat Hillary Clinton. They never accepted that. Okay, and so they then said, he's a criminal, he's this, he's that. He said both sides. He never said both sides. He never said that. He never praised the 1930s and 1940s Germans within that march. He never, not even if you look at the transcript, he condemned them. 80 to 90% of what you've heard about Trump has been categorically false or a lie by omission. And yet people still believe the nonsense. You had a jury in New York actually siding with Trump when Trump was accused of committing a specific heinous crime that I think should come with capital punishment. Okay? But he didn't do that according to the jury. Then the jury said, well, he did something bad. So then they gave the accuser or the person accusing, the defamation suit. So they said, well, he committed other, criminal acts. But he didn't commit that specific crime that he was accused of. Okay, which is what the defamation case trial was viewed as, that specific crime, which of course the jury said, oh, well, he didn't do that specific crime, but there's no evidence of that specific crime. Again, everything you hear about Trump is either false, twisted, distorted, or a lie by omission. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel. They're not going to get him off the ballot. It's going to be another failed attempt at actually preventing democracy. Give me your thoughts. I'll be back in a couple of hours.